Hello everybody, this is Susan with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. It must be Monday, Wednesday, or Friday because I have a new Stampin' show and tell to share with you today. Today we're going to revisit a card we did a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago we made a Heartfelt Blooms card from our celebration set, and we made it all on soft sky, with soft sky, so it was very monochromatic. Then I saw a demonstrator do a watercolor wash technique with this stamp, and I wanted to show that to you today. So I've done two samples here where I've colored that image now with the blender pens, but I'm also going to be able to do it with our ink and our Aqua Painter. So I'm going to show you one of each way, and you can really pull out the detail in that stamp when you work with color. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have pre-stamped with my Memento ink, because we're going to use blends on one of them. So with Memento ink I have pre-stamped the flower image from this set. Okay, so Memento ink is designed to use with our alcohol markers, but you can also use it with our watercolor Aqua Painters. So I've got Daffodil Delight, Old Olive, Crumb Cake, and Berry Burst that I'm going to use to paint these up for you. And I've got water, not in that one. I have water in the barrel of my Aqua Painter here. So let's go ahead and just start washing. So when you stamp your image, you want to make sure that your ink pad isn't too wet or too dry so that you can get all the detail that is in this beautiful stamp. But then if I come in with my Aqua Painter, remember I just have water in my barrel, and I pick up some ink from my lid, I'm going to come in and add color to the center of these flowers. So you kind of have to look carefully to see where those centers are exactly, but there they are. Alright, so the center of my flowers, and you can add as much color to that as you want. Okay, and then just have a piece of scrap paper to clean your aqua brush on. Okay, I'm just cleaning my aqua brush off. Then let's come in with the Old Olive. Let's do some of the leaves. I found that it was easier to do some of the detail before I did the main flower. So my Old Olive needs to be re-inked, so I'm just going to take a drop of the re-inker and put it in the cover for now, because I'm going to aqua paint, and then I'll re-ink it later. But now if you add water to the lid for aqua painting and then it's very wet still, before you close your pad, make sure you dry off your lid. Alright, so I've got this leaf out here, so I'm just lightly painting over the top. I'm kind of taking my tip and working from the edge of the leaf back towards the center of my image. Kind of helps me keep the color where I want it on the stamp. And the Aqua Painters have these nice tips so you can really work into the detail right up to your next image. So I'm just pulling it gently back. And if your color fades out as you work, you just pick up more with the tip. Sometimes it's nice when the color fades out. See, I'm going to do this one down here. Now some of these might be petals, but you know what? Once you paint them green, they're not petals anymore, then they're leaves. So it will forgive you. The image will forgive you. However you paint it up will be just fine. But I always find watercoloring very relaxing. And this is a neat way to use this stamp, because you could color it on the stamp pad, or I'm sorry, on the stamp itself with markers, but it's so together it would be very difficult to keep your colors separate. So this is a way, if you stamp it in a monochrome, be it brown or black or gray, then you can come back in when your ink is dry and you can add the color. Kind of like when they color black and white film, right? It's kind of neat. Alright, I'm going to color this out here too. And I think that's going to be the end of my green. So, alright, so I'm going to brush that one clean. Move the green away. So then I brought Crumb Cake in I've got these 3 little flowers here that are different, and I'm sure my florist friend in town would tell me, those aren't brown, those should be whatever color, but I'm making them brown. I'm using crumb cake so it won't be super dark, and we're just going to pick up a little bit of color. So I'm going to call them like little pom-poms. And I'm just kind of painting these guys in a circle because there's so much detail in there. I think I want a little more color on there. Alright. So, as you can see, I can add my color to our black and white image. Oh, I see another leaf I want colored green there. And if after I've painted these I decide I want them darker, I can just go back on and add more color of shading. So, there's that. Alright, cleaning off my crumb cake. I'm going to pick up a little more green because I do want this to be green right here. It's peeking out. Now with Aqua Painters, if you paint outside the line, there's really no forgiving. You can't really fix it. So you just have to be happy that it's watercolor and that sometimes it's messy. Alright, now Berry Burst is going to be the color that I highlight these main flowers with. Part of the reason I picked Berry Burst is because when I was looking around my stamp room for some cards to put these together on, I found some scrap pink pirouette. And so I thought a nice bright pink flower on this and then build it onto a pink card would work really well. So here we go. So I'm just kind of come in. Now I've got Berry Burst on my brush and I'm just painting over that image. Now, if you want to be meticulous, where the shading on the stamp is lighter, you could use the lighter end of your Aqua Painter, see? And where the shading is darker, you could come in with darker ink. Where your Aqua Painter isn't as bled out yet. So that just kind of helps add to the detail. See how I'm kind of picking up the dark spots when my ink is darkest, kind of adding to the shading. And then I'll go back as my brush bleeds out a little bit and is lighter and shade the rest of it with the lighter Berry Burst. Lighter just means it's got more water in the tip. Alright, a little more dark here. Just kind of brushing that out because it's going to all blend here in a minute. Alright, so now I'm going to get my brush inky and pretty wet. And now I'm just going to come in, and just like before, I'm going to pull from the outside to the inside. Kind of control my ink flow there on my Aqua Painter a little bit. But if your colors cross over each other, it's alright. Don't stress over it. It's supposed to be fun and relaxing. It's not supposed to be stressful. Alright, so as you can see, I'm kind of aqua painting willy-nilly here, these shapes. I'm sure some of you have beautiful watercolor technique, but I'm just adding color over the black and white image, so the detail work has been done for us with the stamp. Now we just have to add the color, perk it up a little bit. Alright, one more side here, then we'll switch over to the Aqua Paint, or to the blender pens from the Aqua Painter. Can you see that little detail I got outside the line there? Nothing I can do about it. Just live with it. Alright, a little more pink. Here we go. Alright, so see, we had a black and white image, and now we've got a colored image that we're going to be able to use on a card. So, a little more pink out here. I know I said I wasn't picky and then here I am adding more, right? Well, that's the way art goes. work with it, and then you want to make it just a little bit different. Alright, leaving it alone now. Alright, so that's the aqua painting. Okay, now let's go ahead and let that dry for a minute. Let's come in and use the blender pens. Alright, so Aqua Painters away. So our blender pens, the colors I've picked today are Pink Pirouette, Old Olive. I picked up the Rich Razzleberry because we don't have the Berry Burst, and the Daffodil Delight. So I'm going to start with Daffodil Delight again. I think I'm going to use the darker one, and I'm going to do the center of those flowers again. So here's the center. So because we use the archival black ink, which is formulated to use with the alcohol markers, my color is not going to bleed on me. There's another center over here, believe it or not. Alright, so there's the centers. Then I've got, let's see, Rich Razzleberry is going to be a dark. This time I'm going to do those little pom-pom flowers in the Pink Pirouette, just for something different. They don't have to be exactly the same. So that will offset our Rich Razzleberry daisies. I suppose I could have done these in Rich Razzleberry and done the daisies in light pink, but change it up. Your cards don't have to always be exactly like the one you made before. Alright, there's that. Now I'm going to come in with the Old Olive. I'm going to do these leaves like I did before. Now your blender pens have these beautiful felt tips that have a nice point on them when you get them. Be gentle with them. Don't push too hard. The ink flows beautifully out of them. So if you use them gently and you don't push down too hard, then your tip will maintain its form and work for you much longer to get into detail. This one has been not so nicely treated, and it's getting a little bit frayed on the end, but I can still use it. So, alright, so I'm using, so see, I'm just coloring right over that black again with my marker, adding color as I go. Yeah, okay, good. Now we have two shades, we have dark and light, so if I want to go back in after with the darker one, maybe I'll do it right now, and I want to add different shade, I can just go right over what I did before and the color will not create lines, but just blend the ink. It'll let you have some detail, but it won't leave lines. So there's that. Alright, let's do our flowers. So I've got Rich Razzleberry. I'm using the light one at this point. And I'm going to just come in and work around those centers first so that I don't blur the colors. I'm just going to come away from those centers. Okay, and I'm going to do this one over here too, so I don't forget when I'm working along. Okay, so now I'm working into where this pink is. So Rich Razzleberry is darker, so if I go over that pink, I'm going to reshade it purple, so I don't necessarily want to do that, so I have to be careful. But now I can just use these tips and just come right in and shade over this black and white image. Now, I'm sure I will do it. Oh, I just did it. So if you color outside the line with your blenders, if you have the color lifter, which I advise you purchase if you buy the blends, the color lifter will help you lift that color off of your cardstock and more or less make it disappear. Alright, so, and you have to do it relatively soon, but you don't have to do it immediately, so I'm letting it sit there for a minute while I work on the rest of this. And then I'll go back in. You can also, if you color in an image, and you decide it's too dark and you want it to be lighter, you can use your color lifter to remove some of the ink. So lighten it a bit. So you have some adjustments you can make with our color lifter pen that you don't have with our other ink options. So that's kind of nice. Alright, so here's my color lifter. It's white. It doesn't pick up the color onto its tip. It remains white. So I'm going to go right here where I picked up some purple outside that line. And it really just kind of lifts it off, bleaches it away. And as it dries, it'll be even lighter. I've got some green over here too, so I'm just going to rub that on there. Now these pens have two tips. We've got the paintbrush tip, which I've been using a lot of. Or if you flip it around, you've got a more fine point tip. So if you really want to work a little more aggressively, you can work with that. I call it the stronger tip, but you can work with the other tip and really get in to the images and work on it there. Alright, so let's see if I can do some color lifting. So this is all in the rich raspberry. So if I come in here and I take my pen over the top, and you see it's lightening that petal a little bit. Hopefully you can see that's kind of lifting the color off. So you can come back in and create dimension with your blends after. Alright, so let's put two quick cards together. So like I said, I went through my stamp room and I found some leftover paper and I thought, oh, we can make a card out of that. So I just had a piece of pink pirouette. Okay, it's not standard size, but it's a square card. I ran that through the embossing folder brick wall on my Big Shot, and then I had two pieces of trim here. So I'm just going to edge my cardstock with some snail. So you can see on the back I used thin white. If you use thick white it doesn't bleed as much, but if you use the thin white it does bleed. So if you're going to do it on the front of a card, always think about mounting it on another piece. Just so you don't see that on the inside of your card. So see here, I'm just adding that pink pirouette trim to the top and bottom of my image, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to add that on with dimensionals. Give that little lift here. As you see, I'm using the edges of my dimensionals. Still dimensional. No, it's not round. It will do the job. And let's see, which way do I want it? Yeah, this way. Leaves down. So I'm just going to position that on top. Now I could always add a ribbon on there. I can add my sentiment when I go to use it. But for now, I've got a card ready to go. Alright, the other one I found, I had some old olive, which we used in the card, and some more of that pink pirouette. So this one I've done in our petal burst. So we can either do the embossed or the debossed. I think I'm going to do debossed today. Okay, I'm going to put that on with dimensionals. Looks like I need to bring another piece in, so bear with me a minute. And obviously someone doesn't know I'm making a video. I'll call them back later. Okay, so let's add this to the front of our card. Alright, so here's the front. Okay, and then we've got this image that can go all the way across if we want it to, or we could turn it. I think we're going to go all the way across. Alright, so I've got more of that pink, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to edge. So this is the one we did with the Aqua Painter, and see, it didn't bleed through the back. So there's another difference for you. Alright, so I'm going to edge this one. I'm letting this one go a little bit longer because I also have a piece of ribbon that I think I'm going to run down there. So the top one I'm not going to be as thick. Okay, and then I have a piece of ribbon. I'm going to add that. So I just add some snail to the back, take it around, and I just tack it into that snail. You've seen me do that before if you've seen more of my videos. Okay, good. Alright, and now we're just going to snail the whole thing to the base of our card. Put So I did that just in time as I ran out. Alright, so, oh, it's not straight. Can I fix it? Will it forgive me? Yes? Yes? Alright, let's see if we can fix it. Gotta have it a little bit straighter. Alright. Better. Not perfect, but better. Alright, so I'm going to add this. Try to get my green kind of even on the top and the bottom. Alright, so there's 2 cards. So, again, we did this one with the Aqua Painter. We did this one with the blends. And we colored our images from that Heartfelt Blooms stamp set. So, this was the one I showed you the other day, where we just inked it and stamped. Here's the one I was practicing with on that same card, but I added color, and then these are the 2 that we just did today. So I hope you learned something new and thought it was kind of nifty. I thought it was kind of nifty and wanted to share it. And if you want to try this at a stamp together, let me know and I'll bring it along and we can do this one or another one. And if you have the blends and the Aqua Painters, try it at home. Stamp up some images and watercolor wash or blend wash your images. Have some fun with it. Alright everybody, as always, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you want more information, subscribe to my show and tell newsletter. All the links are below. And if you have any questions, just contact me. I'm always happy to answer some questions or give you some new ideas. Alright everybody, thanks for today, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.